It is Sunday, October 22nd, 2023. It's the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin. I'll be joined by Big Marcel in just a second. Guys, it's going to be a minute or two, but he's coming on. We're going to recap UFC 294. Looking forward to talking about the fights with you guys. Everything that happened yesterday at UFC 294. Big head kick knockout by Islam Makhachev in the main event. Really good fight between Khamzat and Usman in the co-main event. And then this doctor that I just want to slap across the forehead. Guy's a fucking piece of shit. So we'll talk about this fucking asshole doctor in a second too. But let's get some comments. We got Beercha here. What's up, brother? How you doing, Beercha? Glenn, Glenn, again, Marcel asked me to do it this morning, and you were the first guy I thought about because, like, I know you don't love the Sundays, but it just worked out that we were going to do it today, especially because there's no preview to do. Like, I don't need an extra day of research, so it just made more sense. I'm glad to have you here, Glenn. We love you, buddy. Joe, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? True's in the chat too. True, how you doing, man? How was your night, brother? Did you fall asleep 8 o'clock right after the card finished, or was it 6 o'clock? Your old 50-year-old bones, True? No, I'm just joking, brother. No, good to have you guys here. We're gonna be, like I said, recapping the card. I'm just waiting for Marcel. He'll be here in a minute, guys. Don't want to get too much without him. Let me just mess. Yeah, he's gonna join us in a second here. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about, obviously, guys. There's definitely a lot to talk about. Let's go to some other comments here. Yeah, no, this was a good one because the card ended at, I want to say it was like 5 o'clock our time, guys. And then I think I took a nap. I watched Dana's press conference, and then I took a nap, and I woke up and like it was still like a night to like do something with. So it was, I prefer it like this personally, guys. I prefer the early morning cards, the afternoon cards personally. Like, I know it's not going to ever go that way, but I when it's in Europe or whatever, like I think it's a kind of a break for us personally over here. You get another chance to do something at night. Yeah, go Phillies, Joe. It's going to be a rematch show. It's going to be Phillies and Astros once again, brother. Patrick, what's up, man? I saw you were at CES, Patrick. How was that? That's awesome. Charles Rosa got the win there. Funny, I almost called him Charles Hosa just now because Carol Hosa, but I saw he got a win and Don Shanice lost. That's pretty cool you went there, man. Zach, what's up, brother? How's it going? Do you guys think Volkanovski has? We'll talk about him in a second. There he is, Mr. Big Marcel. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man?
How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. I had to take a shit, so yeah.
I just wrote that in Discord. I was like, I think Big Marcel's taking a big shit right now. That's why he's late. But enjoying this, guys. There you go. He unloaded. What did you have last night? Lasagna? Was that what it was?
Yeah, man, I had lasagna. I mean, it was good. But the thing is always, when you have to do something like a podcast or whatever, and you haven't been going yet, and you have the feeling it's always when you get started, if you have something to do, you have to go, man. So super annoying. And I had to go, shit. Man, because the thing, we have 2 back-to-back podcasts, so I cannot wait. So yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
No, you're good. Like, you messaged me, Marcel texted me this morning on WhatsApp, and I was taking my own number too. I had a meatball sub last night for dinner, so I was in there for a while too. So we're both unloaded, guys. We're ready to go. We should be. I'm not having a hot coffee. I'm having a cold coffee today, so hopefully that doesn't make me run into the thing. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna preview or recap UFC 294. And then we'll do a short podcast after, just a short one, do some fight announcements and questions and stuff. Let's take some more comments. CS was awesome. Yeah, that's very cool, Patrick. I saw you cage side seats. That's pretty sick. Marcel didn't wait because he didn't have to make us wait. Didn't want to make us wait.
Bro, I never understand how you have those people who go to the toilet, and they do number 2, and they are back within 50 seconds. I'm like, how the hell did you do that?
Yeah,
I don't want to know actually.
Do you guys use toilet paper there, or do you use like those whatever that bidet thing or whatever it is that like shoots the water up? What do you guys use there?
We are like, my dad's from Indonesia, right? So we have like just a toilet, but we have water bottles at the toilet to clean your behind. So.
What's that? Am I thinking of the wrong? What's that thing called? It like it's like a water you sit on when you're in Europe and stuff. What's
bidet.
That's what it's called. I said bidet.
I wish we had that here, man. That's great. I had it when I was on vacation in Spain. We had that, man. It's amazing. I wish everybody had that.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Let's get some comments here. Got credentialed last minute. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I say let's get into the card, guys. So we'll do UFC 294 recap. We pull up here. Yeah, I mean, overall, what do you think of the card? It was kind of a shit show, right? Like, overall, what do you say, Marcel? It was kind of a fucking shit show, like, overall. Like, I'm not saying it was a bad card, but I feel like it was kind of underwhelming just because of some of the stuff that happened. What do you think?
I mean, there were some fun fights on it, but yeah, indeed, man, some questionable things happen. Also, I think the prelims were really low level, a few fights, and I heard many people saying it was an amazing card, but most of those people who say that only was the main card, I feel like, because the prelims, it was kind of sucky, The main card was okay, I think, I still think, I mean, for me, man, that Walker and Kalaya fight, it sucks so much. We will talk about it later, but
Yep. Yeah, we got 13 fights. Let's get into it. So, main event, Islam Makhachev knocks out Alexander Volkanovski with a head kick in the first round. I mean, I just didn't see it coming like this. Like, Islam's amazing. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I took a shot at Volk. It is what it is. Again, the short notice was definitely a factor, I think. But regardless, Islam's the better fighter. He's proven that now with two wins over him, right? So, I mean, the guy's amazing. He's got 14 straight wins, 13 straight wins. Yeah, 13 straight. He's got an extra one, right? So he's a 14-1 in the UFC now. He hasn't lost since 2015. He's pretty incredible, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like the guy, I had my doubts about him at like a couple of years ago, I would say, and then once he started fighting those better guys like Hooker and Green and all that, then I started to realize like this guy's really good. And yeah, man. I mean, this was his best performance. Yeah, I got the bonus for that. 3 straight bonus performances by him. He's actually finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of his last 7 fights have ended with him finishing a fight. That's pretty amazing. So he's great. We'll talk about Volk too. All credit to the guy. Fly across the world on short notice to take this fight against someone that no one really wanted to fight. Loses. I don't think he'll be at 155 anytime soon. He's going to go back to 145 and probably still be dominant there. Although, obviously he did take some damage in this fight, which is concerning going forward because he's supposed to fight in 2 months, right? Or 3 months from now in Toronto.
I don't see it.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't see it happening. Definitely not with the cut he has above his eye.
So.
And he took some damage.
I don't think so. It's going to be Max and Tapuri, I think, right?
I mean, you guys better hope it's Max Tapuri and they don't put Pennington there.
I was talking to James Lynch, our good friend. I think he's going to fly down and he's going to stay with me for a day or something, but for that card. And I'm like praying. I'm like, James, I hope we got a good card because if it's Pennington Pena, like it kind of sucks. I mean, I'm obviously still going to go personally, but that fight would suck. Anyways, I want to hear your thoughts on it, man.
I mean, what can you say? Islam knocked TK. We should say TK. I think it was knockout, but TKO'd him officially. Yeah, I mean, I picked Islam, but didn't see it coming this way. I thought he would probably get a submission, but not a TKO or KO. Yeah, man. I mean, people not gonna say like Volk at short notice, and that's true. That's definitely true. But the thing is. And I understand from Volk's perspective that he takes the fight, but maybe he should have never taken this fight, in my opinion, on 10 days. And the thing is, this fight was always there, This fight deserved a proper lead up, in my opinion. This fight deserved full training camp, and now it's over. And Makhachev did what he had to do, and he did it well, all credits to him. And in my opinion, it's first round, so we can listen. If it happens in the 4th or 5th round, people will say like, yeah, but Volk had limited. How do you say that? Limited preparation for this. Now it's the first round. Now it's less like that. And the thing is, we won't see this fight again probably because it's now 2-0.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, well done by Makhachev. He pretty much had a lot of pressure on him. I don't say Volk didn't have any pressure on him, but Makhachev had a lot of pressure on him, and. He rose to the occasion. So, I mean, yeah, very well done. Just very well done. I mean, Volkanovski is a great fighter. Lots of respect for him. I don't think it's smart to come back in January already. But, hey, man, that's not my decision. Yeah, we'll see. And Makhachev apparently said that he wants to come back in December. But, yeah, I think he wants the winner of that Edwards Covington fight. I'm actually not. Listen, you guys know I love Makhachev, but I'm not cool with that. Actually, I think there's a lot of challenges still for him at lightweight. Although I don't see anybody beating him right now, but still, he only fought actually 2 guys at lightweight, and that's Oliveira and Volkanovski. And Volkanovski's actual featherweight. The funny thing is that actually Bobby Green is now also ranked, so he got the more
I think
extra
Drew
rank
Dober's
with him.
ranked. Drew Dober's
Drew
ranked too,
Dober as well, yeah.
Yeah.
So Drew Dober, actually, that's crazy.
And Hooker's ranked too, man. I mean,
And Sarukian, so he got more ranked wins.
Oh yeah, I
now.
forgot about Armin too. That's another one. That was Armin's debut, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ranked wins at lightweight, and then the 2 at featherweight with Volk.
That's
I mean, that's
crazy,
pretty good. That's
yeah,
pretty good.
Of course. Listen,
really
man, I think he's amazing. You know.
Yeah, he's good, man.
All credits, you know. And Volkanovski, listen, man. Also, all credits to Volkanovski. He took the fight 10 days notice, came to Abu Dhabi, came up short against a world-class fighter. It happens, and now we will go through further at featherweight, which is cool as well. You know, make your legacy bigger at featherweight.
Yeah.
Get to the listen, man. He's still second place for me in the GOAT status. I know you differ with me on that opinion. That's okay. But for me, listen, with 2 more wins at featherweight, he can claim himself to be the GOAT, you know. So maybe he can already for a lot of people. So, I mean, I don't see any bad thing here for Volkanovski. The only thing is, like, he's not going to get another shot at 155 title as long as Makhachev will be the champion. So, yeah.
Well, Volk is 13-0 at featherweight, 0-2 at lightweight, 13-0, and he does have 1 win over Aldo and 3 over Holloway. That's why I think he is the best featherweight. You know, I know he'd be a diminished Aldo. I get that. So if you want to say Aldo, but I think he's above Max, man. I do.
I
beat him 3 times. Oh, okay. You think Aldo's number 1? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. Like, that's fair. Because again, I was actually at that fight in Brazil, and that version of Aldo was was like a very depleted version of him. You know, did he ever win it? Actually, no. To be fair, he actually won a couple fights after that, Aldo. But still, I know what you're saying. He wasn't the same guy, right?
It's a legacy thing, you know. It's like how many title defenses you have, you know.
Yeah.
And people will say Volkanovski beat better competition. You know, the thing is, for me, is like it's difficult to compare eras, and at the same time, I would say this: the greatest of all time is still Aldo at featherweight for me. The best, probably, of all time is Volkanovski at featherweight, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I just checked, by the way. So I'm not including the WEC right now, but 7 UFC title defenses for Aldo, 7, 5 for Volk. So he still got time to do more, right? So if he goes in and beats Topuria, he beats, I don't know, Evloev, like, how do you deny him, right? But again,
for sure.
Right now, I completely understand what you're saying. Honestly, Marcel, you can make an argument either way. For any of those 3 guys, really, you could. You know?
I'm cool with it. Yeah, for sure.
It's like Max knocked out Aldo twice too, right? So you can make the argument for him. Again, I just think Volk's a great fighter. I actually thought Volk looked really good, guys, for the first couple of minutes. Like, he was stuffing those takedowns. He looked really strong against the fence. And then, you know, one thing Islam did well, he got that high plum. Bro, he's so strong. Like, Volk could not break that plum. And then all of a sudden he gets kicked in the fucking head, knocked out. So, yeah, it was amazing. I don't know if you saw after they were in the backstage. You see that video where, okay, that was cool. They respect each other. That's what I love about these 2 guys.
They always did.
They always did, you know? And you got to love it because it's the highest level of the sport. Like, these guys are so fucking elite. Yeah, you know what, man? Like, I wish it was a full camp because I think it would have played a little differently. But regardless, he has 2 wins over him. And like you said, it's going to take a long time for Volk to get that 3rd shot. So,
yeah, I mean, Alex is a real, like, laid back guy, and he just says how he thinks. And with Makhachev, if he is like trash talk a little bit, you see him a little bit smiling, and you already know, like, I'm just doing this a little bit for the show, but he doesn't mean anything about it, you know. And you see, before the fight, they tried a little bit, hype it up a little bit, but they are professionals and they are super cool with each other, I feel. So they're just competitors, you know, to the highest level. So yeah.
Now I was looking at some comments, and you know, this one. What's up, Sergio? It's a little bit, I would say, controversial because some people are disagreeing, and I don't think he's done either. Here's the thing: like, he took a shot to the head, like right to the temple. He got rocked. It's not like he got hit in the. People are saying his chin, not you, Sergio, but a lot of people I saw on Twitter, like, oh, his chin's gone now. His chin's going. He didn't get hit in the chin. He got hit right here, like in the temple. That's the part where you get like rocked, Marcel, and you start to stop. Remember when Cain Velasquez and JDS fought the first time?
Yeah, the first time.
He got hit here, right, and he went down. So that's a different spot, right? Like, and Cain went and destroyed a bunch of guys after that. So I'm just saying, like, I'm not ready to write him off. He's not a lightweight, guys. He's 5'6". He's 5'6". He's just such a great fighter that he was able to overcome that size disadvantage and make that first fight so close. Like, if there's a different champion, if it's honestly, guys, and I love Gaethje, but like if Gaethje's the champ right now, I'm pretty sure Volk beats him. Oliveira too. I love Oliveira, but I think Volk could beat him too. Islam just is the better fighter. He has his number, and you know, I'm not going to argue otherwise. let's get some comments here. If Volkanovski and Jay lose Ilya, so what do you? I think we kind of agree that he should take some time off, but I also saw that interview, Marcel, where he said he just like goes crazy if he's not fighting and he wants to keep fighting like often, but like he just fought 3 months ago too. Like he's fought 3 times this year. Like he needs to chill the fuck out, I think, a little bit.
This is a dangerous thing, and that's why you need good coaching behind you. You need these guys need to tell him like, dude, you fought in July, you took a short notice fight on 10 days, you got knocked out in the first round, Take some time off, dude. Listen, man, go enjoy your family. You got a newborn daughter,
It's a brand new baby.
Take some time off. Yeah, take some time off. Listen, and that's no hit on Volk at all,
No.
We both love Volk and we have the best thoughts about him,
Oh, yeah.
And after a knockout like this, or a TK, whatever you want to call it, after you got stopped in the first round like this, dude, take some time off. And I know it's really easy for me to say, from behind the screen, but it's meant with all the best ideas. You know what I mean? I mean, Volk has been so active, and he's been such a good fighter, has been such a good champion at featherweight. He still is, and a great competitor at lightweight.
Yeah. Dude,
take a few months off, prepare for your next featherweight title fight. And Ilya can wait, I mean, fuck, do it in March, do it in April. They're probably not going to Australia in February. Do it in March, do it in April. We don't have to see it in January, And I understand for the Canadian fans, they're now like, motherfucker. But, listen, let's do an interim title fight, between Max and Ilya, if that makes sense, But the thing is, when Volk comes back, he might have to fight Max for the 4th time. You know what I mean? So it's like, what do you want? But we'll see. I still think that that you would probably do. I would love to see Topuria Avloev, but I understand that Avloev isn't there yet because he doesn't have that marquee win at 145. Yeah, but I would love to see that. But if not, Max. Listen, man, the problem with Max is we saw him 3 times against Volk, and the thing is, like, he is 0-3 against Volk. In my opinion, should have been 1-2, but officially it's 0-3. So it's a hard sell.
He should have won the second fight at Fire Island. I think most people agree with that. Anyway, I think we're good with the main event here. Let's take this question. Makhachev, I thought he made weight fine, didn't he? Makhachev?
The thing with Makhachev is that he stood on the. I think he had to undress and he got the in the box, and then he went on the scale, and then I think the guy said 126, and he was like looking like this. He was like, oh yeah, and then
I saw that. I
felt like he was overplaying it a little bit. That was my opinion. But I know many people thought that Makhachev thought that he was overweighted. But in my opinion, he overplayed it. But I don't know.
Possible. I remember when GSP fought Nick Diaz in Montreal, and I want to say he came in at 170.2 or something. Like it was like that. And there was that controversy back then, and they said, oh, like he's fine. But like people said he came in 0.2 was it ounces or whatever over. So
remember the Khabib one against Gaethje where he stood on the thing, click, push 155.
Yeah, no, I saw that. Yeah, no, for sure. All right, excuse me. Let's get to the next fight. Khamzat Chimaev defeats Kamaru Usman, majority decision. Scorecards 29-27, 29-27, 28-28. I had a 29-27. And I saw Gaethje going off on Twitter saying, like, how did they get a 10-8 round? It's like, dude, the first round was 10-8. It was 10-8. Here, I'm going to go by the numbers here, guys. Again, significant strikes only 16-3, but the strike total was 61-5 and 4.5 minutes of control time with two takedowns and a submission attempt. He had his back the entire time going for the rear naked choke. That's a 10-8 round. Like, again, it's effective striking and grappling. So to me, that's 10-8. The second round I gave to Usman. He actually did outstrike Khamzat. There was like not as much grappling in that round. Third round, I thought Usman was winning it until like the last 2 minutes of it where Khamzat got that dominant position on the ground. And again, it's effective striking and effective grappling. So I could see someone giving that round to Usman. One of the judges did, right? So I could see a draw here. I could, like one of the judges had it. I don't think it's the worst scorecard. I didn't have it that way. I had it 29-27 though for Khamzat. It was a good fight. Khamzat didn't look the best. He looked good great in the first round, and then he started getting tired. Same thing happening against Gilbert Burns, right? Like they always talk about how this guy's like a cardio machine, but like I don't know, man. I'm not seeing it in the 2 fights that went the distance. He's never been tested in 5 rounds. He has an amazing ground game. We know that. let you talk in a sec, but I was gonna say like Usman, I thought like over achieved here like a little bit in a good way, you know, because most people thought he was gonna get smoked, and he went the distance, and I thought Usman looked good. And I tweeted this yesterday, like I don't think there's ever been a fighter in the UFC that's lost 2 straight majority decisions. Like I don't think that's ever happened. Like majority decision happens like once or twice a year in the UFC. Like they're very rare. Or I shouldn't say that. Maybe like 5 times overall. Like it's very rare. I feel like they're rarer than a draw, to be honest with you, Marcel. So the fact he's lost 2 straight by a majority decision to 2 elite fighters in Usman and Edwards and Chimaev, I don't think it says a lot about Usman. I think Usman's still at the top of his game, man. I think he looked good in this fight, personally, especially on short notice. Like, especially when you think about that, like, I don't think this was Khamzat's best performance by any means. You know, I thought he had a great post-fight speech, like, you know, all respect to him for that, but it just wasn't his best performance. And one thing I'll say is, too, like, again, he still has not been tested for 5 rounds. Like, you know, people criticize Sean Strickland. They say he had an undeserved title shot right against Israel. But, like, I was looking at his record tape. Sean had been in 5 5-round fights, 5 of them. And 4 of them went the full 5 rounds. So he had so much experience going the distance. Like, if Khamzat fights Strickland next, which Dana says is next, Khamzat's going to be favored to win that fight. But, like, I'm not 100% convinced. Like, definitely Strickland could get taken down, subbed quickly. There's no doubt. I know they've trained together, and Strickland's talked about how strong Chimaev is, and maybe that's what happens. But, like, Marcel, if he doesn't sub him in the first round, I think Strickland could end up coming back and win that fight. Like, Strickland just destroyed Izzy, guys. Like, don't completely write him off. I also think that Dricus Du Plessis should get the next title shot. I don't think Khamzat should get it. I think Khamzat needs a fucking actual win at middleweight before he gets the title shot, whereas Dricus is fought 7 straight contenders, including Robert Whittaker, and fucking knocked him out. So that's my thoughts on this fight. Like, I thought it was a pretty good fight. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think it was the best we've seen from Chimaev. And I actually think they're doing a disservice to him by giving him a title shot. I think he should get one more tough fight in the top 5 against a really good guy. Like, let me look at the rankings right now. Like, even Cannonier, like, why not do that fight? Cannonier's a great fighter. Cannonier's like the gatekeeper to the belt right now. He's right there. He's below. But I know he beat Strickland, but right now on paper, he's 1 step below him. I think that should be the fight instead, Marcel, personally. Like, I just don't know if beating a diminished Usman on short notice is the right fight that gets you a title shot when there's other guys like Dracus who deserve it a bit more. That's just my opinion. Give me your thoughts about everything, man. Go ahead.
First of all, Cannonier is booked against Dolice on December 2nd.
Oh, that's official. Oh, okay, yeah. My bad.
So, but let's start with Justin Gaethje for the beginning. So he goes to Twitter, and people are like, dude, this is a 10-8 round to round 1. You can go score it. And he's like, no, you can't, you clown, blah, 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 but I'm biased. Don't get to fucking Twitter discussing with people when you're biased, you know? I mean, so stupid. But hey, I have all respect for Gaethje, but that's just stupid. And fighters do it often, you know. I'm biased, but I'm going to discuss. Why are you going to discuss with people when you're biased? I don't get that. The fight, 10-8 round, first round, in my opinion, for Khamzat. Second and third round, not a lot happened, you know. I think it was close. You could go score 28-28. You could score 29-27. We'll be cool with all of that. You said great interview from Khamzat. You probably didn't hear the translation, what he said in Russian afterwards.
I didn't. I just heard the English. So I thought he had a good message to the world.
The English was a good message, but the Russian, he pretty much said like to give him a rifle to go to Palestine and to.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. So, but listen, man, I feel the same way like you. You know, Dricus has better wins in my opinion at middleweight. You know, and the thing is like. They're doing Khamzat a disservice if they put him in the title fight now, because imagine Sean Strickland comes out of the first round, you know, he might be in trouble, you know what I mean? And the thing is like, why not rebook the Paulo Costa fight? I have no problem with that at all. I think that would make sense if Paulo is healthy. The only thing is like Paulo is a super liability all the time, you know, if he comes to the fight or not. So I don't know, but book him with someone else, you know. I think Dricus deserves the title shot. I like Khamzat a lot. I think he's an amazing talent. But the thing is, he will get there somehow, you know, but Dricus deserves it. And for somehow the UFC is upset with Dricus for not taking the fight against Izzy while he was injured. What the hell, dude? Do you want to have the repeat of Sterling against TJ Dillashaw? I don't understand why they are so upset with him, you know?
I don't get it either. Dana just is pissed at him for some. And I don't get it because I guess, I don't know, they wanted to do that fight with Izzy and they thought it'd be better than the Strickland fight, but like, I think Strickland winning wasn't a bad thing. Like, Strickland's become like super popular. He's like he's like the people's champion, right? Because he's
but
like an everyday guy.
They don't want him as a champion, you know.
I know they don't. That's why they want him to fight Khamzat, because they think
exactly.
Khamzat's smoking. I think everyone knows that.
It's also because Disney is behind UFC as well. They don't want Strickland as a champion, you know.
I want him as a champ. I love him as a champ.
I like him as well. I think it's funny as fuck. You know what I mean? But but the thing is, I'm not like offended so quickly. That's probably why I don't care, you know. But I mean, I don't understand the hate from the UFC towards Drickus. You know, it's super weird. And I think Khamzat beat welterweight, a guy who came to welterweight, Usman, a former champion, true. Yeah. But it wasn't super convincing. Besides, the first round was convincing, but the second and third weren't, you know. Yeah. So for me, he needs another fight. You know, I think many people will disagree with that, but I think he needs another fight. And we'll see what happens.
Fair enough. By the way, can you retweet the podcast, because maybe we'll get some more people jumping in.
Oh fuck yeah!
No, it's okay. You were taking a shit. It's okay.
Yeah, I was wiping my ass.
No, because we're going to talk about this doctor in a second here. But yeah, just going back to the co-main event, like some people are talking about the fight. Like if it was 5 rounds, I do think Usman would have won a 5-round fight. I really do. Even on short notice, guys, it appeared he had much better cardio. It appeared that way. So. Again, good for Khamzat. He's still got the undefeated aura, 13-0. But, like, let's be honest, guys. When he has fought these elite guys like Burns and Usman, he hasn't been at his best. Like, they've been good fights. He's always had good fights. But, again, when he doesn't have that, massive grappling advantage, which he didn't in those 2 fights, because those guys are fucking amazing on the ground and wrestling. If he's not fighting, if you look at his resume, again, I don't want to diminish his resume too much, but like the John Phillips guy is not in the UFC. Reese McKee's back in the UFC, but he's 0-3, I think. Gerald Meerschaert's a guy that is a gatekeeper. Li Jingliang is a good fighter, but again, kind of a gatekeeper. Holland is an undersized guy, especially at that catch weight of 180. And then Burns, again, he's a guy that used to fight at lightweight. And Usman, again, this is at middleweight. Khamzat had time to put the weight on. Usman didn't. And he barely won the fight. So when he first came to the UFC 3 years ago, it's crazy he came 3. You know what I was thinking about yesterday, guys? Like COVID and Fight Island, that was like 3 years ago. Like the last 3 years has gone by really fast, especially for me with everything that's going on in my life. Like it's just gone by so fast. And it's like that guy that came in the UFC that we all were tweeting about, holy shit, this is the next champion. Like, he's going to get a shot at it. I don't know if he's as good as I first thought. That's all I'm going to say. Like, as he stepped up against these guys like Burns and Usman, he's shown a lot of holes in his game, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. He's still a great fighter, don't get me wrong, but I'm always convinced about how good he is as I once was. Alrighty. I think we should get on to this next fight, guys. By the way, we got our boy Octagon updates here. What's up, man? I'm trying to get as many comments, guys. There's so many, but it seems like you guys are enjoying the chat today, which is good. All right. Let's get to the next fight. Magomed Ankalaev and Johnny Walker go to a no contest. Illegal knee by Ankalaev. First off, I kind of feel like he should have been disqualified, personally. I think it was a pretty clear, knee on the ground by Johnny Walker. This wasn't like the one with Makhachev and Elliott where they went to the replay and his knee wasn't down. His knee was down. It was pretty obvious, and he couldn't continue. Now, that's why I would have leaned toward a DQ. And I know, what's his name? Conor McGregor is on Twitter saying, why isn't this DQ, right? This is boy Johnny Walker, right? Because John Kavanagh trains them. Regardless, I mean, no contest is fine because now they can just run it back. I'm hoping they can run it back at 296. I'm hoping, Marcel. I don't know if that's possible, but that's what I'm hoping. The one in Vegas at the end of the year or in Toronto. Like, I think either of those cards, because we need to see this fight again. I don't think we need to break it up. I think the fight was interesting for as long as it lasted. It looked like Ankalaev was in control of it, but it just didn't last that long. Now, let's get to the doctor now. This guy is a fucking piece of shit. I'm going to say that right now. Earlier in the card, he's a fucking asshole. Earlier in the card, during the fight with with Henry and Basharat, we saw what happened there. We'll talk about that fight in a second. But I tweeted saying this guy is a fucking menace. This guy needs to be removed from the card. Dana needs to go to the octagon, take him away like that. That referee in Fight Island with the Benoit Saint Denis fight with Elijah Skaleski. Remember, Dana's like, we removed him immediately. Like they took the ref out. Now I get it. Maybe they only had one doctor working the event, which is crazy to think about considering how much money is poured into these events.
Out.
Yeah, I would have banished this guy to the fucking shadow realm, dude. Like someone should have sent him there. This was botched. I actually watched a video last night on YouTube of some doctor. Can't remember the guy's name, but he's like a doctor, and he was talking about like the concussion test, and he said that it wasn't done properly. He said basically, first off, there's a new rule now where they're allowed to take the full 5 minutes and then assess the guy. So he was hit with an illegal knee. That's very clear. And like a minute into it, he's sitting there going, Johnny, what country are you in? I'll be honest, Marcel. First off, Johnny Walker doesn't speak English the best. I mean, he's good at it, but it's not his first language, Portuguese, right? And then, he's in a fight, and then he's like, what country are you in? I would have said Abu Dhabi. I would have failed the test. They would have sent me to the Shadow Realm. Listen, Marcel, you're in a fucking fight. You're asking a guy that doesn't speak English first language, what country are you in? He says, I'm in the desert. I don't think that was a bad answer. I don't think that showed that he was concussed, I think they should have given him the full 5 minutes. It looked like he was ready to go after a couple minutes after that. I just think that that's not proof that he was like concussed necessarily. I don't feel like the doctor should have rushed to stop the fight so soon. Like, it was very, very quick. Both those guys wanted to keep fighting. There was no reason this fight couldn't have kept happening, in my opinion. One thing I hate about MMA is like when they do stop these fights, like they can't restart them. I hate that. I wish they could. I get it. You want to err on the side of caution, guys. I understand that. I do get that, especially from a doctor's point of view. But I just think this doctor is a fucking idiot. I don't think he did the test properly. I think earlier in the card where he told Victor Henry you didn't get kicked in your balls when he clearly got, the cup went and smashed his balls. I was really pissed, Marcel, and I actually put a tweet out. It has like 2,000 likes. Like, it has like 1,000 retweets. I don't know if you saw that. Like, everyone is like looking at this tweet because later on they're saying like, he's fine. Like, I don't know, man. I want to hear your thoughts on it. For me, I was fucking angry. I hate this dog. I want to slap this fucking guy across the face. Give me your thoughts. I'm so pissed right now, guys, honestly, because this could have been such a good fight. This guy ruined it for everyone,
So I feel like let's start with the fight. Ankalaev had some good Walker had some good leg kicks on Ankalaev. But I felt like, and then Ankalaev hit him in the stomach, or in the body, and Walker reacted to that. And the thing is with Walker, I was like, when you reacted like that, it's like, do you act like you're hurt or are you actually hurt, And then when Ankalaev went after him, he came in with a flying knee and he got pretty much taken his back, from that. So he was playing possum pretty much, and I was like, that's an amazing idea after you saw Kutelaba against Ankalaev won. But, he did that. Ankalaev hit him with the illegal knee. I don't think listen, I'm an amateur. I don't feel it was that hard, but it was. He hit him clearly, So the referee came in between, which was okay, and he put them to neutral corner. And then the doctor came in after 1 minute, like you said, and he started asking him questions. And I had the feeling like Walker was still like trying to get himself going. You know what I mean? He was like just focusing, and the doctor keep asking him stuff. And apparently, when the doctor asked him, "Do you know where you are?" and he probably said the desert. What is it wrong, But probably the doctor can't take a joke. But then he went to the referee. He's like, no, he cannot continue. And I think that Walker heard, like, yeah, he can continue. So when the referee waved it off, in his opinion, was like, we can go further. So he want to go further. The referee's like, no, I stopped the fight. What stopped the fight, Yeah. So it was really weird. The thing is that, for me, listen, guys, I know it was an illegal knee. I wouldn't have liked the DQ, but I also wouldn't be cool with a TKO win for Ankalaev, what people would have said. Both not cool with. I'm cool with the no contest, We can see it again. The shitty thing is what Adam says in MMA, you cannot restart it once it is waved off, And I think the referee waved it off way too quick, He asked the doctor, okay, but why not first ask the fighter what's up, and then go to the doctor?
Because the ref does make the final decision, I think. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So, was just weird, and then Dana had to call in the case to a little bit get a little bit more quiet. Walker was really upset, and I understand for Walker's point of view. I also understand for Ankalaev's point of view. Although he was the one who threw the illegal knee, but it's super upsetting. After a draw, now getting a no contest, and for Walker, it also sucks. So you can keep listen. For the UFC, it's maybe even better. Because for the simple reason that what would you do with Ankalaev or Walker when they're winning this one, So now you get the Yuri against Alex fight. The winner of that one likely fights Jamal Hill next, and then, so if I was the UFC, I put this one in Canada. And I also do that for you and James, but I would put this in Canada, and why not?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they should, like I said, 296 or 297. They got to run it back quick. All right, go to the next fight. Ikram Aliskerov knocks out Warley Alves, flying knee and then punches. He looked amazing, Ken. Like, Warley stepped up on short notice up a weight class, and I hope they give Warley one more fight. He's 8-7 in the UFC. I think because he took this on short notice, I would give him one more. You know, especially at middleweight where he looked like he bulked up a bit. But yeah, Ikram's legit, man. I think, and you know, again, we need to see him fight the top guy. He was supposed to fight Nazardine Imavov. Didn't happen. I say rebook the fight. You like that too? Rebook it?
Oh yeah, why not? Makes sense. You know, makes a lot of sense. I felt like Alaskarov got tagged by a shot from Alves, but he immediately reacted and flying knee, put him on his ass, knocked him out, TKO'd him. Yeah, great win. You know, he had a fun post-fight interview with my colleague Neil from Discovery Plus. Neil interviewed him, and those guys from Discovery Plus, they always take a treat to the post-fight interview. So they had, do you know what a stroopwafel is?
It's like a cookie or something kind of
Yeah,
thing?
exactly. It's a Dutch cookie.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he had that with him, and he's to Alaskarov. We give this one to all winners. So do you want one? He's like, yeah, it's okay. So he took one, and Alaskarov looks at me and he says, before I bite in this, there is no marijuana in this one, right? So colleague starts laughing. He's like, no, we left those ones at home. He's like, oh, okay, cool.
You're gonna test positive. You know, do they have you saw it anymore? You know,
right now, I think. You know?
Yeah, for a couple more months. Anyways, yeah, Ikram looked good. Saeed Nurmagomedov, you look great. Submits Muin Gafarov in a minute. Looked amazing, Marcel. You know, Saeed's a solid fighter, man. He is 7-2 in the UFC. Yeah, he's still top 15 in my eyes. You agree?
Yeah, for sure. There are people in the top 15 who shouldn't be above him, in my opinion, you know. And honestly, I think he beat Martinez in that fight last time out. You know, it was close, but I think he should have beat him, you know. So, and that's no disrespect to Martinez because he's amazing, but that's how I feel, you know. So, Saeed actually, in my opinion, should be still ranked top 15. Yeah. Was easy fight for him, I felt like, you know, and no hit on Gafurov. I thought Gafurov would have been more durable, you know. I picked Saeed by decision, I think. Yeah, but man, Gafurov pretty much gave his head away, you know, and he went from the guillotine to the ninja choke. And I don't know why they keep saying guillotine on the broadcast. Well, it's a ninja choke. It's a third ninja choke in the UFC.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah. So, technically, it's a guillotine, but I call it a ninja choke. It's the other one was Dan Miller had one, right? I think. He had one that Jim Miller's brother had one over. Was it Daniel Robert? Who did he have it over, Marcel? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Sorry?
Dan Miller had a ninja choke. He had it over.
Yeah. I don't know against who.
John Salter. That was the
I know guy. Arnold Allen had one over Mats Burnell.
And Arnold Allen. Those are the three. Yeah. All right. Next fight here. Makhachev defeats Tim Elliott. 3rd round submission. I called submission. I did call that in the podcast. That was one of my better picks. He was down, though, on the scorecards. He was down 2018 on 2 of the scorecards, so he needed this. And actually, this is the second fight in a row, Marcel, right, where he's down on the scorecards and needed a 3rd-round finish and got it. So his last 3 stoppages, guys, are in the late 3rd round, which is crazy. It's impressive, but at the same time, he's down the last 2 fights. I like Muhammad, man. Don't get me wrong, but, like, how good is he really? I'm not sure, guys. Like, he's down in these fights, and he's coming back and winning, and it's impressive, but, like, how many comebacks can you get in your career? What do you think? Is he a future champ, or is he like, you know, is he not as good as maybe we thought? What do you think?
I think it's pretty good, but it's difficult. You know, the thing is, like, when you fight like this against the higher ranked fighters, I think you got in trouble. You know what I mean? So he's good, definitely. You know, but I need to see him against better fighters. You know, and Tim Elliott is a good fighter. Don't get me wrong, but Tim Elliott let him get away. You know what I mean? I think he let him get away. And Makhachev, really talented, very good on the ground. But he loses rounds, you know. And when you finish, it's no problem, you know. But if you don't get a finish, because imagine he doesn't finish Elliott in the 3rd round, you know. He loses. So
his hype's dead. Yeah.
And the thing is, many people want to compare him with, they say, like, yeah, John Jones was also young and this and that. Guys, John Jones wasn't losing rounds at that moment. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's a difference. And I also hear, like, listen, I'm a Makhachev fan, don't get me wrong, but there is a narrative right now, and it's in the UK a lot, that the UFC should get Makhachev a title fight before March 24 so he can beat John Jones's record. I'm like, guys, he hasn't fought a top contender yet. You know, he has to fight the top contender before you give him a title fight. And it's not like, oh, he can beat the record, so let him beat the record. Then we can say, like, you know what? Let's give Raul Rosas or Jasmine Lucindo a title shot as well, you know? It doesn't make sense. And he knows it as well. He called out Kai Kara France. He called out Albazi Cap. all good to me. I don't think Albasi will accept because he wants a title fight. Kai Kara France is probably the best option for him, I think, to get the fight, because Kai Kara said I don't fight you unless you're in the top 10, and he likely comes in the top 10 now. So makes sense, do it, why not? But I think you shouldn't have to fast track this guy. I think Makhachev is super talented, but shouldn't fast track him. But I have all respect for Makhachev, and I think he's a very very talented guy.
Someone suggested Nicolau, I think, earlier in the chat. That makes sense too, right?
That's also good.
Smaller step up, yeah. Those fights. All right, our boy Trevor Peak defeats Muhammad Yahya by decision. I saw a funny tweet by Grabaka Hitman. It was like, what a boring use of Trevor Peak. He's not wrong. This Yahya guy was he didn't want to fight. He didn't want to be there. Peak didn't fight the way I thought he would. I thought he would obviously, try to knock this guy's head off, but it was a smart game plan though by him, right? He went for grappling, he had 4 takedowns, he had control time, and his striking was more effective. He clearly won the fight. He won every round, in my opinion. So it was a smarter performance by him, but also he kind of went away from what makes him fun, So I don't know. It wasn't my favorite fight. It was actually one of my least favorite fights in the card, to be honest with you. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. It wasn't the best fight. I think Peak did what he had to do, and I felt like Yahya, and there's listen, guys, no disrespect to these guys, just saying what I think. I think Yahya was there because he was from the United Arab Emirates, They wanted to have a local guy on there. He came from UAE Warriors, where he was the champion, but in my opinion, wasn't ready to be there.
No, he's not UFC. He's not UFC caliber. I don't think. I mean, he'll probably get one more fight, but I mean, I wasn't too impressed. All right, let's get to the shit show here. Javid Basharat and Victor Henry ends in a no contest, 15 seconds in the second round. Victor Henry gets a low blow, and let's just talk about this. So, listen, the replay is definitely inconclusive, and now Javid's on Twitter saying, showing video. Javid's being an asshole, to be honest with you. I think he's losing respect to the fans right now, because he's all over Twitter saying this guy's faking it, he faked it. It's dude, shut up. I think what happened, Marcel, is he kicked the bottom of the cup, and the cup went up and crushed the guy's balls. According to Josh Barnett, who's Victor's coach, his balls were the size of a fucking mandarin. So they're just exploded. And he's a little guy too, so you don't think he probably doesn't have the biggest balls in general. The doctor comes in there and says, "It didn't hit you the balls." He goes, "Yeah, what?" And he's like, "It didn't hit you the balls." He's like, "No, I kicked my dick and my balls." I was. And John Anik started freaking out. I'm freaking out at home. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Because at that moment, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to call us a TKO win. So the thing that fucking confused me was that's what the doctor says. But so if he says that, why are they giving him the 5 minutes? Because it should have been a TKO, right? But it clearly, was a low blow, I think. Not clearly. I shouldn't say clearly, but it really appeared to be a low blow. Because number one, Victor Henry's never been finished before, ever. He's never been to a no contest, ever. No disqualification, nothing like that. He's a tough dude. There's no reason for him to fake it. The first round was actually very close. 2 of the judges had it for Javid. 1 had it for Henry. I thought Henry looked really good in this fight. If I had Javid at minus 600, I wouldn't have felt good about this one. I think Henry's one of those guys that's really tough to fight against. I think he's a very, very solid, well-rounded, underrated fighter, I'm just very disappointed in this doctor again, because the guy was writhing around in pain. He couldn't even stand up after. Apparently, again, we know now, he was vomiting backstage. They took him for an ultrasound. He has something wrong with his balls. I feel bad for this dude, and especially because this doctor is not doing his due diligence, not doing his job. When this happened, I was like, man, they need to get this doctor out of here. And they chose not to. It's the UFC's fault. They kept him around. He fucked another fight up. That's the UFC's fault. I just hope this doctor never works the UFC event again. That's what I'll say. Any thoughts on what happened here, Marcel?
Yeah, I feel like this is always with combat sports, kickboxing, boxing, mixed martial arts. I understand that Javid is annoyed by it. I fully understand that when it happens, But your coaches should be saying, listen, dude, if this would happen to you, you wouldn't want to have the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? But then you have his coaches, Dewey Cooper, Jake Shields, for example. They are putting extra fire or extra oil on the fire, I'm like, guys, come on. And definitely Dewey Cooper, who was screaming he's quitting, he's faking. I was like, shut the fuck up, And I have a lot of respect for Dewey Cooper, but what's really annoying to me, I mean, why would you doubt Victor Henry? He fights you. He's not known as a quitter, he's a super tough guy. And it was not like Javid blasted through him in the first round. It was a close fight. I gave the first round to Javid, but I felt like it was super competitive. So there was no reason for Victor Henry to fake anything. Listen, like I said, that Javid is annoyed by it, and that he felt like, looking at the footage, that he didn't hit him in the nutsack, but he hit him in the inside of his leg. I understand that, but you gotta have the thoughts to look from the other side. You know what I mean? And to at least give him the benefit. He said in the interview he did after the Discovery Plus that he gave him the benefit of the doubt. But then he went full heel probably on Instagram and Twitter after that, and he got annoyed. And I was like, come on, man. I mean, why? You don't need this. You're a good fighter. You're a talented guy. You don't need it, And now you're putting like, I don't know. And also like a lot of his teammates are like, yeah, you're right. He's quitting. Guys, come on, man. Why is it so difficult for teammates to tell his other teammate, like, dude, maybe you should look from the other side. And I understand how you see it, but on the other side, maybe you slightly hit him and it went wrong. It's possible, It's the same thing with, for example, do you remember Romanov Espino? When everybody was like, Romanov is faking. Romanov was in the hospital for 2 weeks because he had a nerve damage,
I know.
And many people still don't know that, but that's the truth. So I don't understand this, man. And also, like, fighters get always upset when people say you're scared to fight him. But fighters do it to themselves all the time, to his opponent, like, yeah, you were scared. If he was scared, he wouldn't have taken the fight, So it's just, listen, man, Javid, great fighter. I always have respect for Javid, but I think he handles this really bad. And I also blame his coaches for this one, man. I mean, apparently he has a lot of yes men behind him. So, I mean, come on.
I agree with everything you said. But yeah, at the end of the day, fuck this doctor. And
the doctor. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit more.
Give me your thoughts.
What a blatant idiot that guy is, I mean, you come in the cage to look how the fighter is doing, I don't give a shit about your opinion if you think he is hit in the nuts or not, You just ask him what's up and what happens, But this dude, he's like, no, you weren't hit there. No, you weren't hit there. What the hell, dude? It's like, it's not even your place to say that. You know what I mean? So really weird doctor. And it sounds pretty much biased from the doctor by saying you didn't been hit there. I mean, what a blatant idiot. And he showed again later that night, this is a blatant idiot, So the thing is, like, dude is a crook. He's not a doctor, Yeah, he probably got his degree where Jimmy McGill got his degree in Better Call Saul, He's just an idiot. I hope you hear that. You're an idiot, I don't care.
Sucks.
Yeah, he was just bad.
He sucks. And by the way, I saw, where's this comment? Glenn, he said, I think Goddard chooses the refs and doctors. He could have pulled out. Probably. I know he does have a say. Because again, when they go to when they go to Abu Dhabi, I'm pretty sure the UFC is their own commission there. So it's the UFC's fault, really. It really is. Also at the press conference, Dana was very careful just to say, oh, he's inexperienced. Like, if this was in Vegas, Dana would have went freaked out. He would have. But because they're the ones who picked the guy, he didn't say shit. That's true too. That's true, Glenn, about the show win. Just a few fights left. Cedricus Dumas defeats Abu Azaitar decision. I'll be honest.
Fight of the night.
Pardon?
Fight of the night.
Yeah. I thought Azaitar edged out. It was so close. Third round, it came down to that. 16 significant strikes for Azaitar, 15 for Cedricus. It could have went either way, I thought. How'd you score it?
Azaitar already deserved to lose for pulling the hair the whole damn time.
That's true. Oh, we have to talk about that. DC. Okay. All right. Listen, man, I have nothing but respect for DC. Obviously, he's a double champ. He's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. But like, as a commentator, just doesn't do his homework. And the fact he was like saying, you can't pull your hair? Like, is this a rule? Come on, man. Of course it's a rule. It's in the unified rules. Paul Felder immediately corrected him. And then 5 minutes later, he goes, come on, guys. I was joking, guys. I was completely joking. He wasn't joking at all. He didn't know the rule. And clearly the producers were in his earpiece saying, dude, just say it was a joke. Like, because it looks bad on him. That's like saying, you're in basketball and like the guy shoots a 3-pointer. He's like, oh, there's 2 points or something. I don't know. It's something like that's just a rule you should know. I don't really know, but everyone should know that. Guys, you can't pull someone's hair because otherwise they would just grab people's hair and just like smash their face in. Like, come on. It's clearly a rule. Go ahead.
You know what it was, man? Listen, if he said that once, I would have think it's a joke. But he asked the confirming. He said, like, guys, is it an actual rule? Do you know for sure that you cannot hold the hair? He was literally asking, and then out of nowhere, I think he either got in his earpiece something, or he was reading the comments on Twitter, which he does often, you know.
Yep.
And he was like, guys, come on, you guys know I know the rule that you cannot pull there. Dude, you're now like acting like. And many people were defending him on Twitter, and like, guys, you don't understand, this joke. Listen, if you say it one time for fun, it's a joke. If you ask to confirm it 2 or 3 times, then it's not a joke anymore. You know what I mean? So it was just really weird.
Yeah, I thought he threw Felder under the bus too a little bit. I thought he threw Felder under the bus. I didn't like that. Go ahead though.
What did he say?
Well, he was just like, "Come on, Paul. You know I'm joking, man. I know better than that." Paul's like, "Okay," and it was just weird. It was very awkward. It was very awkward.
But the thing is with DC, I always say it, man, great fighter, but I'm really not a fan of his commentary. And I know many people are because he makes a lot of jokes, but I want to listen, man. You can create, how do you say that, a fun dynamic in the commentary booth without being an idiot all the damn time. You know what I mean? So it's like, and the thing is, like, listen, I like Paul Felder. I think he's great, you know. John Anik had some weird things as well last night, but hey, I like him a lot as well, John Anik. Not a big fan of DC. And if in combination with Joe Rogan, it's even worse normally. And it has nothing to do, by the way, with Joe Rogan's political views or whatever, because always when I say I don't like Joe Rogan anymore on the podcast, on the broadcast, people are like, yeah, you're probably not okay with how. No, I don't care. You know, I'm just purely looking at commentary, listening to commentary. And it's just not it for me anymore. You know, I think Joe Rogan back in the day was amazing, you know, with Mike Goldberg. And Mike Goldberg was like not really knowledgeable, man, but he was a great team with Rogan, and he came much more knowledgeable at a certain moment, you know. But now if you have Anik, DC, Rogan in the booth, normally Anik does well, and those other two are like they're at a barbecue party talking like crazy uncles against each other. And listen, it's fun if I'm drunk, but I'm not drunk. I just want to see good fights with normal commentary. Maybe they should do like how do you say that? And nothing wrong with casuals, don't get me wrong. Do commentary for casuals and commentary for people who watch the sport for a long time, because then you can choose. Because I'm just like, sometimes it's annoying, and also like people form an opinion on the fight based on commentary often. You know what I mean? Don't base your points, who you score it for, based on commentary. Look to the fight yourself, and if you're even smart, put the commentary on a little bit lower volume, you know, so you can watch it for yourself. Much better, in my opinion. But hey, who am I?
You're not wrong. Let's go to the next fight here. Mike Breeden, epic comeback here in the third round against Angel Jubilee. Jubilee looked really good in the first 2 rounds. Kickboxing looked good, and then third round really started getting tired. Mike Breeden started talking all this shit, walking forward, and finishes him. Obviously, he would have got a bonus if he had made weight. That's the thing that bothers me. He came in at 159.5. I think it does taint the win. I mean, he came in really overweight. Not only that, he came in with a staph infection. Like, you're putting your opponent at risk. You're putting everyone at risk when you're doing that. Like, I don't know about that, man. I get it. Like, the same with Dudakova. Like, these fighters don't make much money. They have to do what they have to do for their families. I understand that, but like, the doctors and the commissions need to do a better job. Like, how do you get cleared with a staph infection? Like I feel like that's something that's difficult to hide. You know, it was a great comeback though. There's no doubt about it. Marcel, I think he saved his job in the UFC because he finished him. I think he will probably get another contract, but again, he came at 159.5. Like, it wasn't even close. I don't know. What do you think, man? What's your thoughts on this?
I think he saved his UFC career here. Maybe. You know, by winning like that, because he was 2-0 down. But man, I don't know what it was with Jubilee in the third round. He either was gas or he got legit scared, man, for him like barking at him and something. He was like, this guy is nuts, you know. I don't know, but Breeden did what he had to do. The only thing what he had to do was winning with a finish here to make sure he might get a 5th fight in the UFC. I still don't know if he gets a new contract. Definitely not with the weight mess, you know, but you never know. I mean, good win for him in the third round. But the thing is, like, listen, this guy was supposed to be the star from India for the UFC, and man, this is gonna be a tough thing for the UFC to break in India, because I don't think the talents are that big in India, to be really honest. You know, there are a few guys or girls. They signed a girl last week who was like, I think she's like 6-2 or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I understand that they want to break through the Indian market, but I don't think it's. And listen, man, I'm gonna get a lot of Indian haters, because the MMA culture there is pretty big, the pretty big fan base, but I don't think they have what it takes, you know, to to be like how do you say that, to get an event there. Definitely not with Indian fighters. Who they have in the UFC? They have this Jubilee guy. They have this girl. They have Bharat Kandare, who got suspended for 2 years. I mean, they had Ayam Singh Bhullar, who was actually he was Canadian from Sikh heritage, you know. They had the other guy, KB Bhullar, who was not in the UFC anymore, who was also partial Canadian, I think. So, I don't know, man. It's like, I think it will be a really tough market for the UFC to get in there. Definitely if you want to keep the quality high, because the Jubilee guy was really high. They were really high on the Jubilee guy, and that's why they gave him Breeden. Let's be honest. Breeden was 0-3. Jubilee was undefeated. They wanted to give Jubilee a good win in the UFC, you know. Yeah. But he shit the bed, you know.
He was up 2018, man. Yeah. He got fraud checked. He did, you know. He got bad cardio, and honestly, Marcel, I think his chin's kind of bad too. I think his chin is weak, so it wasn't good. This is funny. Jubilee must have been attacked by a dog as a kid. Yeah, he was running away. Glenn, you know what? The fight companion thing's something I've always wanted to try. I don't. We'll have to think about that. It's interesting. It's 6 hours, right?
The problem is, like, I'd love to do it, but the thing is, like, at events, I work for Discovery Plus, you know, and I write live blogs on the website, so I don't have time for it, guys. You know, and that's why. Listen, I would love to do it with Adam. Don't get me wrong, but
me too. But honestly, I'd have to get paid to do it, and I don't know who's going to pay us to do it. We'll think about it though, Glenn, because who knows? Maybe if Monster Energy sponsors the podcast, where's your Monster? Where is it?
Here it is, man. I showed it.
Up there. Come on, Hans. Let's go. Fucking sponsor us. Let's go. I don't have a prime.
Hans.
I get Logan Paul and KSI as sponsors too. I think Dana's dreams.
You can be in front of my bike. I'm not going to be in front of your bike because your bike will be broken, but you can be in front of my bike, Hans. If you want. Give us a sponsorship. Hey, man, come on. Hey.
All right, just 3 fights left. Muhammad Naimov gets the upset win over Nathaniel Wood. He's a guy I was considering last week as a dog. One of the only guys that I thought had a chance as a dog. And I think you did too. It's just Woods look good. I mean, there's no doubt. And this is a huge win for Naimov. But I will say this. I mean, how did he not get a couple points taken, or at least 1 point? Like, how many times did he grab the fence in this fight, Marcel?
Yeah, and I think he kicked him in the dick as well, right?
By the way, look at this comment. If Monster can sponsor a bum like Khamzat, they can sponsor you. Yeah, they're going to sponsor Captain Morocco. They're going to sponsor Captain fucking Holland.
Yeah, but apparently Monster makes sure he gets enough drinks, and he gets sure that Monster get enough potatoes. So
of course. Now, any thoughts on this fight? Because, like, do you think they should have taken at least a point from this guy?
Yeah, they should. You know, listen, man, Naimov, we both said he was a live dog, you know, because Naimov is pretty decent, you know.
He's pretty good.
In my opinion, Wood took this fight on short notice because he said when he accepted the fight, short notice fight going to Abu Dhabi. So in my opinion, and it's never been published, and I don't know if it's true, I think Naimov was supposed to fight somebody else. I would step in, you know. It also was really low on the card, this fight. So
that makes sense then. Actually, why would it be so low, right? Because it was short notice. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think Wood didn't do a service to himself here, man. I don't think Wood looked good at all, you know, to be really honest. Besides the falls from Naimov, I also think he didn't look good. He didn't look like a guy who should be in the top 15 or as close to the top 15. And that should be like, listen, this Naimov guy, he won against Malarkey last time in the second round, but he lost that first round, and it didn't look really great in that fight. You know, what short notice for him. And this one, he fights Wood as a step up, in my opinion, but he looked a lot better in this one. So for me, it's like, I think Wood pretty much fucked himself here. You know, if you can fight such a good fight against Andre Fili again in July in London, you know, which was a great fight, and then you fight like this against Naimov, I don't know, man. I mean, we'll see what's next, but good for Naimov, man. It's a good win. He got 2 solid wins against Malarkey and Wood in his first 2 UFC fights. So, and the funny thing is actually that I thought that Muin Gafurov was probably the better Tajik fighter when they came to the UFC, but Naimov's proving I was wrong, you know. So
yeah, no, for sure. I agree with Mark.
I agree also.
The ref did Wood dirty, and also 3 nut shots as well. Defense grabs. Wood to the 120. I mean, I think at least 1 point. It should have been a draw. I would have been fair, personally. It just kind of sucks Wood as a loss because of the ref not taking points. Next fighter, Victoria Dudakova defeats Jinyu Fry decision. I mean, this fight was shit. Let's be honest. This fight sucked. I like Dudakova. I mean, she missed weight. that wasn't a good look. But she's so young.
She shouldn't have fought
because of staph infection. That's another fight.
She said she had it in places where that she couldn't make public. So she either had it in her butt or in her genitalia or something,
Well, that's what you say, genitalia. That's the word you use on podcast, huh?
yeah. I can say in a pussy if you want, but I mean, but she had it in places, and she said it popped during the fight on her back. Is like super nasty, and yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. What can you say about it? It was not a good fight. I feel bad for Jen.
They gotta cut her, though. She's not UFC caliber.
She will be cut. It's only just it sucks that she got, like, in my opinion, 2 decisions against her. Definitely one against Vanessa Demopoulos that she should have won. The one against Elise Reed, I can see that going to Reed. I think it was a close fight.
Yeah.
But it's like just not. You know what I mean? And yeah.
2-6 record in the UFC, just like, and her 2 wins over girls that are cut: Gloria DePaul and Ashley Yoder. They're on the roster. She's getting cut. Here's the thing. She actually won the second round, and then she was frozen the third round. It's like her muscles she couldn't do anything. Like she has a lot of muscle, right? I think that's what happened.
I feel with both girls in the third round, they didn't do anything a lot. And the thing is, like,
dude. This fight
was at least pressuring, and that won her the third round pretty much. So yeah.
This fight shouldn't have been in this card. This is an Apex fight. This should have never been on the pay-per-view card. I agree with Zach too. She's a 105er. They need to bring that division in, especially if 140. I think 145 is done, right? Because Big Norm is dropping at 135, so I think it's done. Was it one more? Oh yeah, last fight. And again, I talked about this. I love the fact they put this fight first because I think it gets this. Like, I would like them to start doing this more. Like, you put a really exciting fight first. Shara Magomedov against Bruno Silva. Shara wins the decision. I thought it was a pretty good fight. Now there's two tails to this fight. Number one, Shara's striking is ridiculous. I mean, his kicks were insane. Leg, like, low, high, body kicks, like, amazing. And then he has shit takedown defense, like, terrible. Bruno Silva was 3 for 7, but I mean, it was just he couldn't get up. He was completely on his back. He had a closed guard. He wasn't attempting to get up. He definitely won the fight, Shara. There's no doubt, because he did more damage. That's what the name of the game is. But like, yeah, even from the bottom. But like, again, Marcel, if he fights, someone like a Brendan Allen, I don't think that goes too well for him, personally. So I think he got kind of exposed here as a good striker with terrible takedown defense. I don't know. What do you think?
I feel the same way because Bruno Silva is mostly a striker, and he took him down at ease. I picked a decision last week, because I was like, Bruno, super tough to finish,
Good pick.
The thing is, like, also Shara, after the fight, he got an interview and they asked him about his right eye. Like, can't you see through it? He's like, I can see through my right eye, but it's not great. It's pretty much like Michael Bisping, he said. So, I mean, listen, man. Overall, that's a good debut. You fight Bruno Silva in your debut in the UFC, and you win. I think it was a good debut, but the thing is, like, people will probably talk about his bad takedown defense. And yeah, the takedown defense was really bad. It wasn't there, So if he fights a ground fighter or wrestler, he might be in trouble. But we'll see. We'll see who they match him up with next. But I think, like, with this guy, probably styles make fights. If they give him a guy in the top 15 who is a striker, he has a good chance. But if you give him a guy in the top 15 who is outside the top 15, who is a good grappler, he might have a problem. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
I don't disagree. Like, even if he felt like Andre Muniz, like, I think that's kind of a tough fight just because of the grappling, right? But we'll see. I mean, the guy's striking good. There's no doubt.
Muniz is booked against Jun Young Park, so. But,
actually, I think Jun Young Park will win that fight. I really like Jun Young Park.
Yeah, Jun Young Park. Like I said 2 podcasts ago, remember when Jun Young Park and Down Jung came in the UFC, and we were both like, yeah, the Down Jung guy is really good. It's actually Jun Young Park is really good.
Yeah, I know, you're right. Like, it's funny how it works. By the way, this comment's funny. You can't see the single leg coming because of that no eye side. Jeez. That's when true. You're going to hell, brother. But it's funny. Marcus, you know what, Marcus, before you even asked this, I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, we got to answer Marcus's question. Great question, Marcus, as always. Who stock dropped the most? I would say, who do you think?
It's Volkanovski.
I think it is too. I hate saying it, but I think it is. Because this is why you do need a team to kind of rein you in a little bit, right? Because he gets the phone call and immediately he's like, I accepted immediately, right? But like, really, he probably should have sat down and been like, okay, what's the benefit versus the risk here? because the benefit is you're getting a title shot. The benefit is you're getting paid. But the risk is you lose. The risk is you get knocked out. The risk is you never fight for that title again. The risk is you never get a rematch. Because I think had he said no, I don't think the UFC would have held it against him at all. They would have been like, okay, it's fair, you know?
He could say, like, I'm still pretty much recovering from my hand injury. I need more time.
Yeah. By the way, something interesting. Dana White said that Oliveira is going to be the next title shot instead of Gaethje. Gaethje says it's going to be him. I'm okay with this because he earned it, kind of, right? But I'm a little surprised though because I thought Dana would be pissed because he pulled out with that cut. But I guess because Volk saved the card, and I think Dana said the card actually sold better with the new fights. That Dana's not pissed at him. But I thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, I'm with you, Marcel. As far as like who stock went up the most, like we should talk about that too. Like there's a few guys on the card, but like I would say like Saeed and Ikram probably, like those two guys. Like I really like them both anyways. There's actually not a lot of guys that like exceeded expectations. I think Naimov's probably one of them, you know. But again, he cheated too, and then Breeden too. But like again, he missed weights and like who knows, right? Anyways, I think that's good. Yeah, I think we're good with that, Marcel. Anything else you want to talk about for this card? Anything else you want to say?
I think we talked about everything on this card, man. I think it was a kind of a weird card, but yeah, I mean, it was eventful. It was weird. Some weird things happened. Some
out of 10, what would you rate it? Out of 10.
Listen, man, if I only could go with the main card, I would probably give it a 7.5. But I take the prelims as well in it. I give it a 6.5.
I hate to say it, but I think a 6-2. You know, and I hate to say it because you know, I going into it, I thought the card was amazing, but it to me, because of the no contest, because of the bad doctors, maybe a 7, but it's around that area. It's just it wasn't the best. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know, Marcel. Anything else you want to say? You're good.
I'm good, guys. I only want to say, like, please stay tuned for the next podcast where we're going to talk a little bit about upcoming fights. You can ask random questions, Q&A, and yeah. Absolutely. Okay, we'll end this podcast now, guys. You know, like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. We're going to end this one right now. We'll do a short one just now, just doing the Q&A and everything. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it. Appreciate everyone joining in. I will say this too. We're going to be back probably next Monday. We'll do the preview for the next card, which is the Brazil card, Sao Paulo. And yeah, it should be good. Just a couple more questions I'll get really quick. Can Bull get cleared in the U.S. to fight? I don't know. I mean, because he has that assault, right, that he committed, right? So I don't know if I'm assuming he can't. I could be wrong. But like Trevor, to be fair, Trevor Peak also has an assault charge, and he talked about this, and he got his probation lifted like early and got to fly. I don't know if you heard that because he's been open about that. I think he was a little shit when he was younger. Let's be honest, but you know, a guy that's turned his life around. And then the other question was, if Khamzat rematched Ikram, what was the opening IB? Probably like minus 200, I would say. Oh, you're talking about the eye. Sorry, Zach. I don't know. Is it a glass eye? Is that what it is? Is it like this thing? He says he can still see through it, but not a lot. That's what he said. So I don't know.
This is another good question. Is there buzz for Francis Fury? I don't see it at all. I don't hear anyone talking about this fight. I'm not in the boxing community, but I forgot this was last week until someone mentioned it yesterday. To be honest,
I saw that the Parting Shot podcast. You guys are like, "Oh, is it next week?"
Yeah, I know. By the way, this is a good question. Is Trevor Peaks or comment? He's like the new age poor man's Matt Brown. I would say so because Matt did evolve as a fighter, but again, Matt's a legend. Matt, you know, when you talk about Hall of Famers, is Matt Brown a Hall of Famer, right? Like that's another guy that, you know,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, is Jim Miller? Yeah. Yes. So is Matt Brown? Maybe because he's got the most knockout.
I love Matt Brown, man. I think he's great. So
yeah, me too. All right, guys, we're gonna end this one. We're gonna start a new one up here in just a minute. We'll fire it up. Appreciate everyone joining in. Hope you guys had a great time, and we did too. Talk to you guys in a minute. If not, we'll be back next week.